Well,
if we want to move on.
we want to talk about what's going on in DC? Do we want to talk about a new Hulu movie, or do we want to talk some more Marvel stuff?
Let's start. Well, since what's happening in DC is Marvel related, let's talk about what's happening in DC.
Okay, so the newest,
So, now hold on. We're not talking about the political corruption that is in DC. Everybody knows that,
and we don't mean
but it's
Detective
something else.
Comics,
But
but anyways, DC, Washington DC to be more precise, right now is actively filming the new Captain America. So a lot of stuff is basically being roadblocked off. Cited on set more than a few scenes of this new Captain America has been Robert Downey Jr. Now, I haven't seen any pics or anything of that for hard confirmation yet. Because as you can imagine, with a Marvel slash Disney production, sets are pretty stringent on what information gets out or how they
yeah.
get out, and they get slammed pretty quickly as soon as
Oh,
they're
they say that, but eventually it gets leaked anyway.
right. But Robert Downey Jr. has been cited down there, and he's been at a couple different venues and places of that nature. And people were putting one and one together and getting two, as they should be. And everybody's thinking, oh, so Iron Man's going to show up in the new Captain America. And everybody's like, is it going to be a flashback? Is it going to be more, shared universe stuff? Things of that nature. And there's been rumblings going on for a while that Robert Downey had to renegotiated his contract, and maybe the Iron Man from the MCU universe is still alive. Whatever Kool-Aid you want to drink here, by all means, prescribe to it. I'm of the philosophy with Marvel movies slowly kind of on the downtake, except for a few incidences. We'll get to that. But with Marvel movies in general, kind of on a downward spiral. Um, I'm really just like, let's just wait and see what the finished product is. Or in my case, it's wait and see it until it gets on Disney Plus. But I'm that kind of asshole. What are your thoughts?
That's the whole aspect. Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna wait for official confirmation word in regards to everything because it's kind of hard to say. As stated, there are going to be so-called leaks. There's like, oh, we're very hard pressed. We try to keep everything secret, yet they're going to be leaks. There's going to be some sort of photos or something leaked out by somebody. Personally, as a kind of a fan of some of the Marvel movies that are out there, I personally think the only reason why Tony Stark died in Endgame. Oh, spoilers! It's already been out for a while, so fuck spoilers. The only reason why he died in Endgame is because his Robert Downey Jr.'s contract ran out, pure and simple, and that's why he died. But if it didn't, the most logical choice to wear the glove and snap safely would have been T'Challa, whatever the heck his name is, i.e. the Black Panther. Pure and simple. Because his suit was made to absorb energy, to absorb power. He would have been the perfect person to grab that gauntlet and do the snap. Perfect person. And as a matter of fact, I said that on somebody's posting, and they're like, put something controversial up that people will argue over. I put that up and they're like, why you look? Wait a minute, he's not exactly wrong. He might be that whole meme from like the show that was on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was like equivalent of that underneath my post, my comment. It was the equivalent of he's out of line, but he's not wrong.
Right.
It was like, but
And I mean, it's all speculation at this point.
it's
And
all yeah.
it's kind of like the recent Ant-Man movie. I was kind of like, I'll watch it when it hits Disney Plus. I'm already paying for Disney Plus. I'm infinitely disappointed by, half of the Marvel series that they've made. I did enjoy, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy Winter, what was it called?
Falcon and the Winter
And the Winter
Soldier.
Soldier. Yeah, I did enjoy that. And I did enjoy WandaVision, but to me it just kind of felt like after that, like anything that they've put out, like Secret Invasion, I'm bored. The latest Star Wars series, what was that called? Can't even think of the name of it. Not Mandalorian. I love Mandalorian, but the
Book
one
of
that
Boba Fett.
no, the one that had all that political intrigue with it, with the dead character from Rogue One in it.
Uh, I I think I know which one you're talking about, but I didn't really watch it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and there's
the ones
apparently a
that
season two, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm interested,
the ones that I really watched and I was getting into in regards to the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus was Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, and The Bad Batch.
Yeah,
I like those three.
I
I want to check out when Ahsoka comes out. I want to check that out because that looks interesting.
and it dovetails with Mandalorian, so I
Yeah,
mean, it should be good. Essentially, though, Ashoka is going to be basically the Rebels reunion show because we've already been teased a bunch of Rebels characters in Mandalorian and other shows. But I
let me
enjoyed
say this:
Willow. The new Willow was
the
good.
new the new Ant-Man movie is on Disney Plus
Yes.
because that's where I watched it. I can't as much as I could buy it early on Vudu. I'm going to wait until it drops on Disney Plus to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Uh,
See if I actually
I'm a James Gunn
so
backer. I may have to pick that up as soon as I see it on disc, but that's just me. You can always bogart
but still it
copy.
it's one of those things. I'll check it out once it's uh on
My
Disney Plus for free. So, on your view, I'll switch accounts in regards to because ladies and gentlemen, pretty much what me and Sasha did is we have multiple. I'll say more so. I'll say on Sasha's end, she has the Voodoo app on multiple devices, whether it be TV, computer, etc. I can easily, as do I, but one of the great things I have in regards to my Xbox is that when I switch accounts, I have to re-log in for Voodoo. And what I did with Voodoo on my Xbox is when I switch from my personal account to my show's account, I used Sasha's login for that. So if Sasha buys something on her Voodoo, I could easily switch over and watch that way. And we have how do I put this politely? A gentle person's agreement in regards to our Voodoo accounts.
We have a crisscross agreement. Basically, I use yours, you use mine. If we want somebody's mom from the train, that's how it plays out.
Just that the agreement is basically, even though we're on watching each other's stuff, is that we do not buy on another person's account. Outside of like if there's something really, but all in all, if there's something I really want to watch, I'm going to buy it for my account. I'm not going to, buy it, say, hey, here's Sasha, buy it for you and I'll watch it on my end. But I'm
still trying to figure out how you have 30 Days of Night, Dark Days, but you don't have the original 30 Days of Night.
I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
Okay,
that's still like $15.
That is the best one. The sequel, horrible.
So I'll say this: I was just waiting for the first one to go on sale and come down. Then I'll buy it if I have the cash. That's the only reason why I wanted to see the second one, and it was on sale. So I was like, pull the trigger. I'll buy it.
It's even a poor adaptation of the sequel to the comic book, which is kind of sad. But they adapted some things, but not everything. Like, they adapted the beginning and the ending, but the middle, I don't know where they pulled that from. And apparently it was a web series before somebody cut it into a movie, and I'm just like, that's wonderful. But the original's far better. But anyways, no, like I when it comes to Marvel and DC or Marvel DC comics, anything of that nature, I'm more or less all right, well, I'll give it a shot. Now, if they announce something obscure and go, hey, we're gonna do a film noir, the Question movie, sign me up. But I don't see that happening. They're going to do Jonah Hex correctly and properly. Yes, please. We're finally getting a Lobo movie. Oh my goodness, I'll be the first one in line. But none of that has happened. Or better yet, we're getting Matt Ryan and a big budget Constantine movie. Yes, yes, please. I'll be there.
I'll also say this, because we're kind of on that topic. I have to either get my controller fixed or what have you, because right now something's funky is going on. I think it's the controller for my PS4
You don't
because
have
it's just one.
anything else hooked into the USB slots, do you? I know that sounds weird, but
No,
okay.
no.
Because I had a USB
It's
hub plugged in for a while to my PS4, and like half of my remotes were acting weird. As soon as I removed it, problem solved.
no, it's not that. It's just that it was just like it wouldn't stay. If I was scrolling down on through the library, it would either like go back to a previous section or it will immediately scroll up, or like it had extreme drift to it when the thumbsticks are still dead center. Like
Yeah,
some information is.
that's a frequent issue with the controller. There's a couple things that you can do. In fact, believe it or not, it's something that happens with a lot of modern day controllers. There is a drift kit for it that you can get, or there are ways that you can try to reconnect it, if that makes sense.
But for now, if anything, I could pick up something through one of the local businesses here in town in regards to getting a brand new one, because I'm not technically savvy in regards to drift kits and all that. So it'd just be better off for me to, go up to Panhandle Games and say, "Shut up, take me money, give me one of the controllers." So,
Right.
and they're like less than like $20 to $30. So it's like, just do that. Give me, shut up, take my money. I'm here and it's on my way to work anyway. So, and I'll do that. And the reason why I say that is because I'm easily signed into Peacock and what's happening at the end of this month is Twisted Metal is coming out on Peacock.
Yep.
So it's either I have to bug a friend of mine for his updated Peacock code, or so I'm able to at least watch it on my Xbox, or get a new controller. One of the two. I'll have to decide.
So since we
I want to check that out.
Yeah, I do too. Since we kind of touched on Marvel a little bit, so obviously we know Deadpool 3 is coming. It's in active filming. There's already been pictures of Hugh Jackman dressed up in the OG Wolverine costume along with Deadpool. And so a lot of fans are pretty excited. I'm excited.
Excited. That is a very light term for what some of the fans are doing, Sasha. They are not just geeking out over it. They are having legit nerdgasms over this.
Yes.
They are. They have blown up that picture so bad, so big. They are literally critiquing every square inch of Hugh Jackman's outfit and hairstyle. And they are drooling over that image like a hungry person drooling over a steak.
I mean, it is Hugh Jackman after all. I mean, he's at daddy status, but that's okay, But anyways, at the end of the day, because I think when it comes to the whole thing with Deadpool, like again, it is a comic book movie having fun with itself. And obviously they're dipping into old 20th century Fox properties, because there's been rumors of I want to say that some of the Fantastic Four from the 20th Century Fox Fantastic Four is supposed to show up. Ben Affleck's been confirmed being in Deadpool 3 as basically Daredevil. And the other big thing was what's her name played Elektra briefly in the sequel to Daredevil, and the Elektra movie is also going to be in it.
I think Jennifer Gardner is
yes,
the person you're talking about.
Yes.
The thing is, folks, I know Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner were not the best creations for those characters, or best folks for those
Neither
characters.
was Fantastic
but you have to understand.
Four.
But hold up. Let me just say that everybody kind of knows Deadpool has been so, in regards to the film series, has been so self-aware in a way, though it kind of fits the Deadpool character. Anyway, it's been self-aware, so why the fuck not? Why the fuck
Just
not?
as long as the rumored Fantastic Four isn't the most recent Fantastic Four, but the 20th Century Fox one, the earlier one, or hell, give me the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. I would pay to see that. In fact, I was disappointed when Reed Richard appeared, and it was what's his name, Kransky, or I can't think of his last name. But anyways, when he showed up as Reed Richards, I was slightly disappointed because I wanted to see the Roger Corman Reed Richards show up in that cancel in the latest Doctor Strange movie. I'm like, that would have been such a deep cut, and I would have dug it. But the upside of if they do have the Fantastic Four, we get one of the Chris's back, but this time as Human Torch, which I think would be a hilarious joke for Deadpool to make. Aren't you Captain America?
Or the reverse. Christopher, him showing up as Captain America, or a version of it. It's like him Deadpool just looking at him
Flame
on. It's like flame on, or shouldn't you be wearing a suit with the 4 on it?
But that would be hilarious. He comes on the set of Fantastic Four, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, Mackie has that role now." That would be great. But anyway, I mean, it just seems, because it's having fun, and I think that's why a lot of people kind of get attached to the Deadpool movies, because they're in their own separate kind of weird universe, which eventually is going to get milked into the MCU somehow. It's all multiverse, man. But to me, it's having fun.
As I stated, it fits the character as well, Deadpool, because they could play it as being so self-aware, the movie as a whole, and it fits the character to boot, him being self-aware. It fits.
And if
it fits so damn hard.
If Ben Affleck is in this, as terrible as it makes me sound, but I want Deadpool to interact with him, go boom, Phantom's like a motherfucker.
Or shouldn't you be wearing a cape and cowl?
Yeah. I just think that would be funnier. Boom, Phantom's
or like Batman jokes, like shouldn't you be on another property right now wearing a cape and cowl and messing with bats?
Oh wait, that's that kid who sparkles in the daylight. Oh,
I would pay good money to see. It's like, shouldn't you be wearing a cape and cowl and being in a different property? No, you're talking about the other guy that kind of twinkles. Oh, you mean the guy from Twilight? Yeah.
Yeah.
But even though and him switching back to being Daredevil, it's like, I do have the same type of qualities of a bat, though. I do use echolocation, that sort of thing. It's like, oh, shut up, Batman.
Or worse, just making the offhand reference. Oh, didn't that guy who twinkles replaces you? I'm blind.
I'm blind.
That would be great. But I mean, I'm excited because it's shooting, it's active. I just hope that it hasn't been Disneyfied, because I still get infinite displeasure every time I'm on Disney Plus, because I always have that odd hope that my favorite Disney movie will appear, and it hasn't yet, which is Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's not on
Despite the fact,
Plus.
despite the fact that their Disney Plus is removing shit from their platform.
Oh yeah, I know they do that, and they edit shit from their platform. Like, look at the stuff from Lilo and Stitch that's been changed. Oh no, some kid might actually
And
hide in the dryer.
or the fact that a little bit of digital hair was added to the back of Daryl Hannah in Splash so they could cover her butt crack.
Lovely. Mermaids have hair on their butt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, at least
That's
they put
besides
Splash
the
2
fact
up.
that what?
I said, at least they haven't put Splash 2 and Encino Man 2 up yet. Yes, both things happened.
Oh, by the fates. Do not do that. By the fates.
Oh,
Don't
come
do
on,
that.
it's trash. We'll watch it.
You know what? Do I have wait, I have I gotta filter that. That should be the what I watch tonight while having dinner is probably
And yes,
see
there
how
is an Encino Man sequel that came out in, I want to say, mid to late 90s, and it was one of those like ABC Disney movies. I don't know if you remember where Disney would have that evening where they would show
yeah.
a movie. And yeah, it quietly disappeared. Like, I think you can find it on the internet some places. It's one of those things where it should not be found. You know, it doesn't annoy George Lucas, so let's not find it. You know,
That's what I tell folks a lot. It's like, well, the uh the Robin Williams version of Flubber was awesome. Like, I am not knocking Robin Williams' performance in that movie at all. Him as a comedian or an actor at all. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. I'm not knocking him at all. But there was a remake before the remake. Oh, no, there wasn't. Yes, there was. It aired on ABC. There were several of them.
yes, but the original one was, what was his name? Jerry Lewis, the "Hey Lady" guy. That was the
Yeah, something
original
like
Nutty
that. That
Professor.
was the original.
Yeah.
Uh, and those are 1960s, 70s Flubber. Then it
Mm-hmm.
was remade on ABC in the 80s for their Sunday night Disney thing. Then in the 90s, they made another reboot for the theater starring Robin Williams. Again, I'm not knocking what Robin Williams did at all, but I'm just saying there was something between the original and the Robin Williams movie that
Yeah.
people forgot. And there were several. I think they made a remake of the original, and they made a sequel to that remake.
Right.
So
And the thing of it is that like there's whole aspects of Disney that gets lost and forgotten. Like, how many people remember the Christopher Lloyd My Favorite Martian remake? I do.
I
I
do.
just happened to be working at a movie theater when it came out, but I enjoyed it. It's Christopher Lloyd. You know, who's not going to love that?
I
But
still want to get a chance. I still want to get a chance to meet Christopher Lloyd. I want to do that one year. I might not get an autograph, but I want at least meet him. And folks at home, to give you a little bit of trivia, my gamer tag for Xbox Live is Rev Jim Esquire, and I told that to somebody with my best friend standing next to me. And I said, I gave him that gamer tag, and he's like, I don't get it. It's like, why'd you name yourself that? I said, it's a reference. And my buddy my best friend, who's not a gamer at all, and has maybe about 5-10 years on me, turned to me and he's like, wait a minute, it's a Taxi reference, isn't it? I went, yeah, you got it in one, because Christopher Lloyd played the Reverend Jim in Taxi. But my buddy asked me, it's like, why'd you add Esquire? Esquire means person of the court. What, you wouldn't think the good Reverend Jim would have called himself Esquire? Him being a reverend, a man of God, in a way, calling himself a man of, somebody of God's court. And besides, it's funny as shit. And I would tell Christopher Lloyd that pure and simple. It's like, I'm making reference to your original character, that he was a laid back type person that just wanted to game. That's my viewpoint on when I game, is gaming for fun. And that's what, I'm sure Reverend Jim from Taxi was this laid back type of character. Yeah, I'm sure he did pot or whatever he was on during the time, but still, he was just this laid back character, just wanted to have a good job, do his thing.
All right. So since we're on
Yeah.
the topic of Disney, because Hulu is part of Disney, and Disney owns Hulu, and Disney also owns Alien. The most recent Alien film has wrapped with 20th Century Studios, which is how they rebranded Fox, and Fox Films. So that movie has completed filming, I want to say, as of the end of last month. And there is a somewhat brief plot synopsis for it. A group of young people in a distant world find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying life form in the universe. Very bland, very general. It's going to be directed by Fede Alvarez, and pardon me for butchering the name. I know I did. But he did basically Don't Breathe, um, that whole series, the Evil Dead reboot from 2013, which I think is an excellent film. He did the Texas Chainsaw movie, I want to say the most recent one that was on Netflix here in 2022. And yeah, so like his big claim to fame is Evil Dead and the Don't Breathe series, which is kind of
I have yet to see the Don't Breathe series. I've heard good things about it, so I want to
the
check it out.
best advice I can give you, because the sequel kind of comes as a shock, because the villain of the first movie is kind of the hero of the second movie. So don't be shocked by that when you see it. Try to watch them as two separate things.
Is it on Shudder?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
so
don't
I'll give it a look. If not, it's probably on Tubi.
but
Everything's on Tubi.
great films. I think he'll add some unique tenseness, because in my opinion, the original Alien film was basically a horror movie. It was a slasher in space. I mean, you could literally remove all the space elements and set it in a gothic castle, and it still would work. Now this new film, and I'm kind of excited about this because they don't have a lot of big names. You have a David Johnson, who is, I guess, in a TV series known as Industry, and Archie Renau from Shadow and Bone, Isabella Marcin from Rosaline, Spike Fierne from The Batman. I'm not sure who or what Spike played. Eileen Wu from Away from Home, and a Kaylee Spaney from Mayor of Easttown. Now, a lot of this stuff sounds like, indie or more drama related stuff, so that may mean we get some more story. Now, some people want to say that this film may be another prequel, but there are rumors that it may actually be a sequel to Alien in and of itself. So it may, forego all the Prometheus and Covenant. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, bullshit, because some of the math there doesn't work. I'm sorry, David the android did not make the alien, or the xenomorph, as everybody wants to call it, but a xenomorph is not the appropriate terminology either, because a xenomorph just means new form, and it is a phrase that people would use to describe anything that isn't currently classified, are classed into a certain genus or species.
But you said this is going to be on eventually air on Hulu?
Yes, it's going to be Hulu, kind of like how the new Predator movie Prey aired on Hulu. And I don't see an attachment of a subtitle yet.
I have to get back on.
But this,
I either have to borrow somebody's account or get back on Hulu, because I want to see it. I want to see Prey finally. Not to mention Futurama is coming back on Hulu, and I want to check that out too. So.
But that was from Variety, which is a pretty standard source. Screen Rant kind of goes into some other things. Right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot of Ridley Scott involvement, which honestly has me happy, because let's be honest, Alien was Dan O'Bannon's baby. Alien was just directed by Ridley Scott. You know, honestly, in my opinion, Aliens was an awesome sequel, but we asked Ridley Scott, he's not a fan of it. And it's like, you know, piss off, dude. But basically, they showed like the clapboard that says Happy Alien Day. Looks like last day of filming may have been actually April 26, 2023, but they didn't announce it until recently. But they don't have any confirmation. I'm not seeing the guy who played David showing up anywhere in any official casting lists. It did film underneath the working title of Romulus, but I don't know if that working title is still being used or not. But yeah, anything right now is just kind of up in the air. And I think it's interesting that they picked a genuine horror, you know, director to direct this movie. And it kind of tells me, well, maybe they're stepping away from hard sci-fi and bringing the creature back into horror. Because let's be honest, Alien 3 dips into it, but any other sequels really haven't.
Alien was, in essence, at heart, a sci-fi horror.
Right.
At its heart. Granted, like the way Ghostbusters was, the original Ghostbusters and Afterlife was a comedy horror in a way, or drama horror. Meaning it had comedy elements to it, and
A
I
comedic
say
horror.
the Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
a comedic horror, because it touched it. It had equal amounts to perfection.
Not to be confused with a dark comedy, because like a dark comedy kind of drifts into
Right,
the whole Cable Man aspect. But
but
Ghostbusters wasn't.
meaning Ghostbusters had a little bit of light, and it went a little bit of scary, and it went a little bit light. It had enough that it was a roller coaster that it kept you interested in, and it had a little bit of drama in it too. Aliens had the sci-fi aspect, it had the horror, where Aliens had the action. It was an action sci-fi horror, can be classified because it had the action elements, it had the
I think it
horror.
worked. It went into a different genre. I think that's why it worked.
It had equal amounts of everything in it that made, and James Cameron making, there were issues from everybody would tell you behind the scenes, but there was a lot of folks that, still, then look at the end product. James Cameron made equal parts of that movie work. He added enough action in it that the people who love action love it.
I still
enough
love how
to
he
make things
pitched that movie, though. He literally went to a bunch of 20th Century Fox executives, and he's like, I want to make a sequel to Alien. So he wrote Alien up there. And then he's like, but here's the change. He puts the $ at the end of Alien, making aliens. And like the board members were just eating out of his hand after that. And I'm like, that is such a baller's 80s move that you would not get away with that today. You know?
But he made it work. He did, it was a very good movie. It was very good.
Made it for a fraction of the budget of the original film, because a lot of people don't know this. Like, most sequels are made with nowhere near the budget of the first movie, because a lot of them don't think it's going to work as a franchise. So you got to film it at almost half or less of the original budget. But because
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. But because
I'm agreeing with you.
Went to the Roger Corman school of how to make movies, he could make a dime look like $1. He could stretch that.
Same. That's why I have a lot of respect for Robert Rodriguez. Dollar, make it look like he has $1 million. But where I'm agreeing with that, it's not just that movie. It's the fact that a lot of movies in the early to mid 80s, when it came to even up until like the 90s, if you had a sequel, they didn't give you, this movie original was $100 million budget, so let's give you $150 million for the sequel. No, you got 75, you got $50 million. Look at the original Planet of the Apes. These were blockbuster movies for each sequel, and each movie, the budget was halved
Yep.
for
And
each
props
movie
were
of the original.
reused. You could tell because people were wearing ill-fitting ape masks. It just how it works.
But nowadays, when you have a movie, whatever it is, it's a success. Instead of having 100 million, they're going to say, "Hey, franchise, motherfucker, let's give you for the sequel not $1 million, $100 million. Let's give you 200 million. No, not 200 million, $300 million." And when it doesn't work out, oh, what happened to somebody who didn't like this movie? We don't know what the hell happened. So let's blame all the people that didn't like for insert reasons here.
Well,
So
that's what they need to do with modern movies. They need to go, oh, you want to make a sequel to this? Here's half the budget. Show us a good script. Make it happen. And I think we would see a lot better sequels that way because then people got to get creative and go, okay, I'm only going to get half the budget of the first movie. And so they would have to work on it. And that's why I think like a lot of people kind of overlook the third Alien film and like, oh, it's trash. I'm like, from a thematic kind of angle, David Fincher had very little to work with because there was already like 4 or 5 rejected scripts. One of those rejected scripts, FYI, became Pitch Black, and a lot of people don't realize that. I still find that humorous to this day. But Alien 3, he had basically, when it came to Alien 3, like they literally set a date that film was going to be out before they had a script, before they had a concept, before they had any idea. But hey, this is when the movie's coming out. And it lost so many directors and creators that I think what David Fincher did create, even though it was fucked and clearly not his vision, that's why you can watch the work print of Alien 3 and you can see it's a little bit of a better film, but there's no such thing as a director's cut for that movie because he didn't really have much control. They're like, here's this shit show.
Again, I'll say this. That, and both, I think Sasha could agree. It's like when I said it before on the show, and I said it to Sasha, when I initially saw James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez part of the movie Alita Battle Angel, I was down for that. I wanted to see the trailer. I wanted to see the movie because it was two people that know how to do a story and know how to do things. If you want to look at James Cameron knowing how to do a story, his past doing stuff on a budget. Besides that, Robert Rodriguez doing stuff.
We're not talking Avatar.
We're not talking Avatar. We're talking about stuff in the past that James Cameron has done in regards to story-wise. Now it's, hey, here's $100 million. Robert Rodriguez will be like, I'll call in every freaking favor I can to do this movie and owe people so much to make this $100 million movie look like it's $500 million. And seeing the movie, were there some changes from the OG manga
yes.
and cartoon? Yes, but I see where he was going with it. He was using the second volume as a bridge between, or attempting to use that second book as a bridge between 2 and 3, 1 and first movie and the second one. I get it. I understand where he was coming from with that as a fan, but he did a wonderful job putting everything together. Wonderful job, and he gets mad props with it. Yeah, does James Cameron have a tendency to be a freaking ass? Yes, he does, and an attitude. But just a lot of his works, he does have a lot of respect.
But when it comes to like Alien 3, like the point I'm making here, like from a thematic angle, it makes sense because you have the whole situation with Ripley in the first movie where she's kind of defined as the character. And the second one is kind of regaining her motherhood while facing against motherhood. And then the third film is basically her death and her ending. To a degree, I like Resurrection, but I think Alien 3 goes back into the horror angle because you're back to, okay, we don't have a lot of Marines, we don't have a lot of guns. we're in a prison and we got to take this mother out, as well as Ripley because she's carrying a queen mother. Um, which I think is kind of an interesting concept. And yes, if Fincher had more time to develop the script and more time to shoot, other than this set in stone deadline, I think it could have been turned into something a lot better than what it was. But you had a horror movie, then an action, and a horror. And Resurrection, in my opinion, kind of went the route of action more than anything else. Prometheus and Covenant. Prometheus, I don't even want to call that an alien movie. It doesn't feel like an alien movie. It feels like the alien bits were kind of shoved in there. To me, the creature that was aboard the ship in Alien will forever be the space jockey. These engineers are their own separate thing, you know. And then Covenant, obviously, that was a full-on alien movie that kind of cribbed from Prometheus a little bit, and it just felt like a clusterfuck. And I think to have Fede Alvarez, a pure horror director and writer, to do this one, I think is the right choice. I just am dreading to see Ridley Scott name pop up anywhere, or to see that there's anything else being added from like Greek mythology. Because the whole Alien Romulus, it kind of made me cringe because that kind of dips into Greek and Latin mythology as well. And I'm like, let's not go down the Ridley Scott route. Let's make this fresh. Let's make this different, but let's not make it a remake. Let's just basically have it as either a direct sequel to Alien or somebody else who comes across the creature in their travels and make it its own thing. But that I'm looking forward to it, because to see that Hulu, aka Disney, aka 20th Century Films is involved after Prey, I'm excited because I want to see what they do with it. But I've been dreading and watching news to see if Ridley's name popped up. I don't know. Have you seen Prey yet, Chris?
No, I haven't. I've been, I won't say neglecting or anything like that. Just that, as of right now, I do not have access to Hulu. I was borrowing somebody's account, and due to, I want to say, Disney Hulu weirdness, I lost access to that account. Okay. Because I tried to log in. I think I wasn't on my Xbox for a while, and when I went to finally re-log in, I was booted off, or there was an update to Hulu. And when I went to log in with their credentials, their login and pass, I kept getting, this is not a password. This is not, I'm like, and when I messaged them, it's like, oh, we changed it. I was like, okay, what's the new, login and pass? It's this. Again, sorry, that's not the password. I tried everything with uppercase, lowercase.
If I get you a copy for review purposes only, would you be that cringy about it?
No, I'll just have to probably pop it in my PS3. I mean, my PS4, or
the best way I can put it is how like sometimes I send you these episodes, you might just happen to get a link to a Google Drive and you can watch it on something. Or download it and then watch it on something.
True. Or if you know somebody that has a Hulu account that is willing to let me borrow for a few days, I'll be more than happy. Either way, I won't. I'm not the kind of person that's going to mess up their algorithms. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, no. I'm just saying because my much maligned review needs to be done, and there's only one way for me to grab a copy of it for me to review because they haven't put it on physical media yet. So I'm going to have to creatively get a hold of it, utilizing some of my own equipment that I have around here that I've accessed in the past that allows me to, how can I put best, stream video games, but I can also record stuff off of HDMI ports now. So it would be an HD quality cut that you could see and use for editing purposes at your wish, but do not dispense commercially.
Interesting. So I always make that offer to a lot of folks, like, well, if you let me mooch off your account, I will not. If I have the capability, like I did with my friend's account with Paramount Plus, it's like, yeah, if I immediately log in and I'm not instructed to create my own profile, and I'm immediately tossed into your profile, I'll see if I could add a profile. That way I'm not messing anything up on your end.
Yeah, I don't worry
So,
about that. It's just that mine's a hand me down too, so to speak. I'm trying not to muddle the
so
waters too much.
right.
But I think I can get you a copy. I have ways. I have to rewatch it again because I've had a few people go, "Where's the Predator retrospective? We have the Alien retrospective, kind of, because goddamn YouTube and goddamn Facebook, so people now have to grab episodes from one site or the other. But still, it's there, it's available. But
I will say this: when I borrowed a buddy of mine password for Netflix, this was before you were able to add additional profiles, and before Netflix decided, you know what, we're going to renege the whole aspect of password sharing. What I'd do is I would be on he'd understand, because Netflix would have what recently watched, and he'd see the path I was taking in regards to what I was watching, and be like, oh, I'd be on this like nature fix. I'll be watching about like, oh, sea life, land life, air life, like watching stuff about fish, then land animals, then air animals like birds and the whatnot. Then it would go from that to, you know, outer space, potential life on outer space. But somewhere in all these movies would be like Dora the Explorer or Scooby Doo or something like that. You'd be like, or it'd be like slasher movie, slasher movie, slasher movie, slasher movie, slasher movie. Very Odd Parents. So you'd be like, what the fuck were you thinking? I was following your logic the whole way through. And all of a sudden, somewhere in the middle of all this slasher and horror movie shit is Very Odd Parents or SpongeBob SquarePants.
Dora the Explorer.
Or Dora the Explorer. What the fuck?
But no, I'll find a way, because I want you, before you see the new Alien movie, whenever it drops, I want you to be able to see what they did with Prey, because I think Prey kind of redeemed itself. I'm just curious where they'll take the Alien versus Predator franchise after this. I know Ridley Scott wiggles his fist at the Alien versus Predator franchise. That's why things have gone screwy with it of late. But Ridley Scott, it is not your property. It's Dan O'Bannon's. And short of you grave robbing, which is what you're doing with Dan O'Bannon and your brother, it is not your property.
Let me put it like this. Ridley is somebody that currently is, when it comes to aliens, he's yelling at the cloud worse than I tend to do sometimes. And I'm an old man yelling at a cloud.
But he's also the guy who wants to make a Gladiator too, in space.
Why?
And of course, the original character's coming back. So pick your brain at that for a little bit.
Wait a minute. We're talking about Gladiator
with Russell Crowe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I had to make sure they're going to bring him back and set shit in space.
Yes.
What year is it, Sasha?
2023.
My God, I thought it was like 1985 or some shit like that.
All every friend is if you get bored later, go online and you will go down a mysterious rabbit hole. But there are some very interesting script developments that he has had since the original Gladiator came out for a Gladiator 2. And there are official scripts where it deals with Russell Crowe's character coming back, but now he's in space. It's
like this is not 1985. Hell, it's not 1995. God damn it.
It's like this it's milking the well and senility.
It's not milking the well, folks. Let me just say this. Sasha, for those of you who don't know, every movie or every franchise in the 80s and 90s had to have that one movie in fucking space. Let's put it like this. Jason, Friday the 13th did it. Leprechaun did it.
Leprechaun did it first.
Leprechaun. All right. It's included in the mix.
Well, honestly, that's
Hellraiser did it.
The Predator franchise got started. Like, initially it was pitched to what if Rocky fought a space alien? And it's like, why didn't we get that movie?
What? Rocky's just working out, training in a meat factory, and all of a sudden the shadow just reappears.
And the Predator's there.
And they just start beating up meat.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's how it was originally pitched. Leprechaun 4 was basically a joke because it started out as a gag thing. I guess at Trimark or whoever the original rights holders was the Leprechaun. They took a picture of Apollo 13's movie poster and they removed the Apollo 13. And then they had like a little window with the Leprechaun face sticking out of the window. And it's Leprechaun 4 in space. And then some studio exec, I'm guessing high on cocaine, make it happen.